Hey, how is everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. Beautiful day we have for us today. But we're going to be talking about our quarterback, Kirk Cousins, because there's been some sort of reports coming out of the Vikings training camp and kind of what my eye test has kind of seen during the couple preseason games and my eye test from a couple of the practices. Kirk Cousins, he doesn't look too hot. So we're going to be talking about that. And Paul Allen, voice of the Minnesota Vikings, he's kind of had some of his concerns. And Paul Allen is a huge fan of Kirk, as many of us are, but some of us aren't. He was even saying it too. Kirk looks a little shaky in practice. I'm going to be talking about it. I think this might be a focus thing for him, but we're going to get into it right now. Yeah, but as you guys see by the title, I said, is Kirk Cousins really focused? What I kind of mean by this is, for my quarterback, for anybody on my team that I'm supporting, it could be baseball, basketball, whatever it may be, you obviously want those guys 100% locked in on what they're doing, on what the goal is. And Kirk Cousins' goal, as it should be, is to win games in the NFL and get this team to a Super Bowl. That's where his mind should be. I get they have other stuff going on in their lives. He's got a family. I'm not saying he shouldn't focus on his family. I'm just saying I think he has a lot of outside kind of sources, such as the vaccine, such as Everson, such as the Minnesota Vikings media, treating him in the most disrespectful way I think I've seen a starting quarterback from a team get treated. Starting with this vaccine thing. Obviously, I'm not going to get political on here. I never plan on it. Just going to preface it by that. I don't really have a stance. However, it is getting annoying. I get what the Vikings are doing with trying to, obviously, I would want everybody on the team to get vaccinated because I'm selfish. I would just want to have no worries about, God, I really hope Kirk doesn't get COVID this week because then I'll have to miss a big game. I don't want to have to worry about that. So I'm being selfish. I want them to get vaccinated. But when it comes to them doing what they want to do, that's all for them. That's their choice. That's a Vikings choice. That's an NFL's choice. I'm just being selfish. However, I think this is kind of taking a toll on Kirk. He'll never come out and say this. He'll never come out and say, like, hey, you guys need to shut the hell up, pretty much, when talking to me about the vaccine. But I think it is something he's constantly thinking about. And something I took out of one of his press conferences, it was about around a week ago, he was saying when he missed COVID for the first, or he missed that certain amount of time with COVID because he had the quarantine, he was coming back and he was saying, yeah, I was constantly doing research about how we can kind of get around this. I was looking up a bunch of stuff and pretty much showing me where his attention was. He was showing us where his attention was when he was at home. He wants to play. That's where this is coming from. He wants to play so bad without getting the vaccine that he's doing a ton of research on where even if somebody else in the locker room gets COVID, where he could still be available to play. Which, hey, I'm all here for. I agree with you, Kirk. However, I also want your mind, my quarterback's mind, to be on football. And I'm a little nervous that this could affect his play because we know how Kirk is. He plays better with a chip on his shoulder when he's pushing the ball downfield and when he's confident. But when he has the hometown media, I'm about to go in on media right now for the Minnesota Vikings and the beat reporters that are going on. Stop asking him about the vaccine. Stop. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he gets it or not, it doesn't matter. The focus is on winning week 1. I hate this whole, whenever I'm watching the press conferences, they could be asking the D-line coach, Andre Patterson, and he'll get a question about Kirk's vaccination status or somebody's vaccination status. When the guys on the team get the vaccine, you'll know. You asking them a question, you the reporter asking Kirk Cousins when he plans on getting the vaccine or if he's getting the vaccine, it doesn't change anything. How about talk to him about football? Because that's your job. As a beat reporter, you talk to him about football and let his personal life be his personal life. I'm getting a little mad, not at the players for whatever they're dealing with all this, but I'm getting mad at the media. Talk about football. If you look around the league yes, Aaron Rodgers has had to answer questions with the Green Bay media with the crazy offseason they've had. But you look at the media, they're giving him friendly questions where he can kind of create the narrative he wants to create in the situation. When you have these beat reporters for these NFL teams, their job is obviously to tell the truth and what they believe is the truth and ask good questions, but also their job is to support the damn team and the quarterback and keep their focus on football. And yes, there's been reports that Cousins hasn't looked fantastic. He hasn't looked the best he's ever looked this training camp. I think it has to be with his focus. I really do. I think he's got a lot on his plate right now, and that's where I'm concerned. Where if you look at the Vikings schedule, we need to come out of the gates hot. You look at our schedule post-bye, I mean, it's in Baltimore, it's the Steelers, it's in San Fran, it's Green Bay twice, it's Chicago twice, it's the Cowboys on Sunday night, the Chargers in LA. There are a ton of tough games. You look at our first 6 in Cincy, in Arizona, those have to be wins. At home versus the Browns, at home versus Seattle, you have to at least split those. And then you have the Panthers and the Lions. You have to take care of business. The Vikings should start off 5-1, if not 6-0, 4-2, whatever it may be. But it's 4-2 at the minimum, and 6-0 is, I guess, what it should be. Or 5-1 is what I think it should be. But you got to start off hot because that schedule gets tough. And I think if his focus is not there, because eventually I think his focus during the season will all be football. But when it comes to the first few weeks, with still all this kind of chatter going around, I'm a little nervous. It's not going to be 100% football where Kirk Cousins' mind is at. So if any beat reporters, if Chris Tomlinson or whatever his name is, I think I despise you the most out of any beat reporter for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you get clicks. I mean, you are not controversial, but you know how to piss off a bunch of players and coaches. So, I mean, props to you if you want to do that and that's how you want to live your beat reporting life. I think he does a terrible job. I think the beat reporters have honestly I don't think they've done a good job for the Vikings this offseason. I think they've done a terrible job on how they're covering the team. And because you look at the beat reporters for San Fran, they're like, oh, Trey Lance looks so good. Garoppolo looks so good. Where is that report getting leaked to the national media? Like, you leak a report how Kellen Mond looks. You know, I mean, in Jacksonville, they were playing this whole who's going to be the starting quarterback. We all knew it was T. Law. We all know Trevor Lawrence was going to be a starting quarterback, but they wanted to make it seem like there was a competition. So that means Gardner's looking good. It kind of gets the stock value of Gardner and T. Law going back and forth. Vikings beat reporters, shut up about everything else. Talk about football. This is a football team. This is a football channel. I'm excited for week 1 for hopefully this can all go away. Kirk Cousins, I hope he gets focused, and I think a lot has to do with his outside factors and not even him. So see you guys next time. Skol, Vikes.